News. This is going to be a short video talking about recent statements by, of course, Tucker Carlson. We're going to talk about North Korea. We're going to talk about Haiti and why they are urging people to get out right now. Again, some pretty wild stuff for that. And then what Russia is finally saying about Prigozhin. They are now, of course, clarifying what they may think. Now, up until this point, a lot of people may not know this, but Russia did not even say if or not Prigozhin was actually gone. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But first, I wanted to talk about what Tucker Carlson is saying. And this is pretty wild because just last night I said this, or the night before this interview with, I believe it was, and I'm trying to remember who the interview was with. I think it was Adam Carolla. Tucker went on this, and I swear these guys must watch either my show or some of our peers, because I've been saying this for a very long time, and same with the community. Everybody is looking for a Tonkin event, a Gulf of Tonkin type event. Basically, it also shows that Tucker obviously knows the history and the basic history of the Gulf of Tonkin and all of the other events that have essentially got us into a war. A hot war is usually following some sort of event that gets us involved with. You can look at every world conflict, and there was an event that really triggered us to get in it. World War II was, of course, was Pearl Harbor. World War I believe, is the Gulf of Tonkin. But we've talked about a Tonkin event happening, and it's like, and by the way, there's a Fantastic Freddy was my title and my my thumbnail last night. So it's just wild that this is coming out today, and everybody's talking about this. As far as Tucker Carlson the next day goes out and says, it says they will do anything to win, Carlson said in an hour-long interview with radio host Adam Carolla. He argued that another CV lock and down is unlikely, as too many people would refuse to comply, and says, so they are going to go to war with Russia. That's what they're going to do. This is what he says, right? It says, quote, there will be a hot war between the U.S. and Russia in the next year. And what's crazy is, as if you guys know, we've over the last couple of weeks, we talked to Foogle family military members. One in specific is very high up, said that in the next year, the world will look completely different. So it's odd that Tucker actually said in the next year. It didn't say, in the future, didn't say some time period, said in the next year that there will be a hot war between the U.S. and Russia in the next year. Says, I don't think we'll win it. So he doesn't have too much faith. It says we're already at war with Russia. Of course, we're funding their enemies. He added that the U.S. has allocated over $130 billion for Kiev over the past 18 months for weapons, military equipment, ammunition, and salaries of government officials. It says, quote, I think that could easily happen, the former cable TV host continued, and says, I think we could Tonkin Gulf our way into it, where all of a sudden missiles land in Poland. The Russians did it. That's what his quote is, right? Our NATO ally has been attacked. We're going to conflict. I can see that happening very easily. So what he is saying, one reason this is really important is because of who is saying it. Tucker is followed by millions and millions of people. This is the same thing that has been echoing through our community for a very long time. And of course, I bet you, he says that he doesn't watch internet. He doesn't, he says he literally does not watch anything on the internet. He says that he gets all of his information. This is according to him about a year ago or 6 months ago before he was kicked off. He said that he gets texts and calls from very important people that he trusts. So all of his news and his opinions are based on texts and messages. I'm not making this up. This is what he said. I think personally, I think that he watches a couple channels like us, and I'm not saying that to be like a handful of channels that really that are are watched and talk. So I think that he's been watching our community, but again, who knows for sure. But as far as what the statement is and what they're talking about with the Tonkin Gulf is an event where, say, a boat, painted or looks like or is this attacks another boat, and then all of a sudden you have yourself a conflict because some major event happens. Now, what people are worried about is if that is actually perpetrated to make it look like that event happens, but it's actually not that event. So that is pretty nuts. it's just crazy because yesterday, if you look at my thumbnail yesterday, we specifically said that. And then, of course, now today, he comes out on Adam Carolla and says that. And then we have the U.S. Embassy in Haiti urges citizens to leave country as soon as possible. Over the last week, we've actually had we had kind of 3 instances sort of like this, where Japan told Japanese citizens in China to talk quietly and to not let people know that they're from Japan. And that's because they thought that they were going to get kickback, or they say they're getting kickback from dumping the nuclear water into the Pacific Ocean. And they're saying that, talk quietly, don't let people know where you're from, that kind of stuff. That was kind of weird, to say the least. And then there was a message I think there was a level 4 to leave, Belarus, I think it was. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Again, this is just off the top of my head. But I believe there was another one. Now they're saying that they are telling people to get out of Haiti. It says, men run next to the burning tires, blah, blah, blah. It describes the photo here. U.S. Embassy in Haiti on Wednesday urged citizens in the Caribbean country to leave, quote, as soon as possible, citing security and infrastructure challenges as escalating violence has left thousands displaced and sent homicides soaring. So just to let you know, the reason that Haiti is like in this crazy spot, a lot of folks believe that some other parties may have something to do with that. In fact, the people that took over one of the previous leaders, there was like 20 guys that ran into the house, the presidential palace or whatever they call it, took the guy out, and they ended up having some sort of links. One gentleman directly linked to Florida. So it kind of makes you question, like, what's going on with this? As we know that there's a lot of events where, our government or world governments have a hand in changing power and leadership and things like that. Not saying that's what happened, but again, if you do go along those lines, then you go, oh, wow. So now we're telling Americans to get out for a problem that may have been started in the first place by who knows who, right? And it says, quote, U.S. citizens in Haiti should depart Haiti as soon as possible via commercial or private transport. They're basically saying get out. Now, if you haven't followed the Haiti stuff, Redacted has done a good job of covering some of the stuff, talked to some great people that actually are Haitian and or people that are experts on that. So they did a great job. I don't know anybody from Haiti. I'm sure that there's some Foogle fam from Haiti, but I don't know exactly what's going on there, and I take everything with a grain of salt. But I will say, kind of looks like, major countries have something to do with what's happening. So what the end game is, though, I have no idea. If you guys know, let me know in the comments down below. And then the Kremlin is essentially saying that the Prigozhin plane may have been downed on purpose. Kind of first day stuff for all of us. We're like, yeah, if it was Prigozhin at all. Remember, they within hours they were having a kind of a memorial at Wagner, and people were like, "Oh no, he's gone." They're doing memorials, but at the same time, then it came out like a day or two later that they didn't actually find the top half of the person there. The very top half that back in like Game of Thrones days, it would be on a pike. That part of the person wasn't there. So not a usual kind of injury for multiple people in a plane crash. I could see I could see people missing stuff after a horrible plane crash, but I don't know, several people missing the top half of their person. That's a little odd, right? What are the odds of that? I think it would probably be astronomical, but again, I'm no Bill Nye. As far as the plane, so that made people question, was this him in the first place? It's only been about a week. What did this accomplish? What was the end game? If somebody on our side and NATO side took him out for some reason, if UKR took him out, or if they're basically saying that he might have taken him out. Less people believe that, even if they're like pro-America, pro-UKR. A lot of people are doubting the whole thing that Vlad took him out, because if he wanted to take him out, he'd probably take him out when he did that so-called mutiny, right? But again, they said that this was the first explicit acknowledgement that he may have been taken out. It says, quote, "It is obvious that different versions are being considered, including the version You know what we're talking about. Let's say a deliberate atrocity, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters. And it says, asked if the International Civil Aviation Organization would investigate the crash. Peskov said that the circumstances made it different, though he cautioned that investigators made no formal conclusions yet about what exactly took place. It says, let's wait for the results of our Russian investigation. So one more kind of privy note there was the private Embraer jet, which Prigozhin was traveling on to St. Petersburg from Moscow, crashed of Moscow, taking all 10 people on board, including two other Wagner figures. So two of the top kind of right-hand, left-hand man, they both perished supposedly, and Prigozhin's 4 bodyguards. So the cause is still unclear. They don't know what actually did it. And then Reuters heard a bang, and people told Reuters that they heard a bang and then saw a jet plummet to the ground. Most of you guys know the story by now. It's been covered all over the place, but nobody's really demanding the full-on truth for it because not a lot of people believe what's going on. And then huge attack on Russia since the conflict began, destroys at least 4 military planes, and don't know, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, but this is actually coming from several sources, including Zero and The Hedge. And it says another huge drone attack on Russian territory has taken place overnight in the early hours of Wednesday morning, this time against the airport in the northwestern Russian city of Pskov, which hosts military planes. It came amid broader drone attacks on 6 Russian regions. Crucially, Pskov is a mere 20 miles from NATO member Estonia's border, which is what was talked about yesterday, how close this was to Estonia, and how, this 20 miles is not far whatsoever. So this could have easily been some sort of escalation if something went wrong here. And that's exactly what somebody like Tucker was just talking about. And then North Korea launches a ballistic missile toward the sea after U.S. flies bomber during drills. Now, we've seen this so many times that it's the boy who cried wolf, that people don't really care when NK launches. They've been launching since 2017, or they've been launching for a long time, but they launched a lot during T-Man's reign, and we went through that period where a lot of people were admittedly scared. And then when nothing happened, time after time of this happening, after every single year that we do this same kind of I watch right when I talk about this stuff, it goes blank. If they take out anybody in his cabinet, then it would automatically send nukes if he really did that. There's this thing in the back of all of our heads, like, what if this isn't the boy who cried wolf at one of these times, right? Or what if they are a puppet for somebody else and they do a single huge event that starts everything off, that kind of gets the ball rolling? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, Pastor Leo. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Red Scout. Thank you, everybody. Red Scout says God gives warnings. D. Lynn, Truth Iris, Nick, thank you for being here. Cat Weaver, thank you. Occam's Razor, thank you. Stop saying what's his face's name, and that's when it starts buffering. When you tuck your shirt in, that guy. That's funny. So I hope you guys got all of this. I only saw it reconnecting once. So very, very important stuff, especially what Mr. Tuck said. I think that it's pretty crazy to think about the whole situation. And now millions of other people that normally haven't been following this stuff are probably going to get into following this stuff. Our main message is not to be afraid of this, not to be scared, to be prepared. So make sure to go to our website. We have great affiliates that help support us and get you prepared as well. One of our newest one is Harvest Right. It's a freeze dryer company. It's one of the best. And you can actually freeze dry all of your own stuff. It's about a third of the price if you went to buy it yourself. Go to marfooglenews.com/freeze if you want to go check them out. Right now, there's a $300 sale off of the Pro version. And that, again, you can freeze dry your own food so it lasts 25 years. You can freeze dry almost anything and everything, and it's really easy. You basically set it and forget it. In 24 hours, you have freeze-dried food, seal it in a Mylar bag, and then you're good to go. So make sure to go check it out. Again, that helps us out, and, of course, it reinforces the growth of our channel, and it helps us basically fight back. So thank you, guys, and I appreciate you. Make sure to also go check out marfooglenews.com for the full bibliography of today's show. All of the sources, every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that I referenced here will be over there. Also, the show is going to be set for 7:30, and that is going to be over on our sister channel, Marfoogle TV. That channel, we go over all of this in detail. We have a lot more news and a lot of stuff that probably didn't even know was going on. So make sure to join us over there, and we will be covering breaking news as it happens during that time period. So make sure to join us. It's always fun. Have a good day, guys, and I'm sorry about the buffering. Hopefully it processes, and everybody who's watching the replay ends up seeing exactly what we just said. Thank you, guys. Love you. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.